Hello all, this is Z. Just with a midday update. Just finished the lunch period. Market is trying to bounce. We often view this as a profit-taking bounce. We had a pretty sharp sell-off this morning. Hit a number of targets on the way down. The 78 to 75 was the first major zone. Once we broke that 75, we were looking for the 72s to undermine a shelf there at 74, which was really supportive last week for the upthrust, and that is generally in the area of last year's high, 2273. So that's still an important marker that we need to pay attention to. I'm looking at a 15-minute chart, and there's not a lot of information on this. We can see we gapped down, and we had the plunge, very sharp sell-off, and by lunchtime, though, we've tried to consolidate, which I think we're doing. So the key is, do we get higher highs forming and squeeze back a little bit or not? We've got targets back there into that 73 retest area, all the way to 75, and then above that, then it starts to get dicier for the shorts, although probably another short before the day's over is in the cards for a lot of traders that want to hit that second shot. It's possible the low is in already. Not sure, and we never know, but certainly we believe the best trades are already done. I've taken that chart and slid that over to the left so that I can show a video that I made this morning for traders in Club 200, and I showed them these specific reference points, and step by step we were looking to come down, and obviously that 82 zone was important, and then into that 75 zone. That was our next major target, and the thrust that goes through that is one that knocks out a lot of traders who were caught on the upside, and this really accelerated today. And this is a mirror day. This is a mirror reflection of that big up day. We had two in a row last week, and those traders who thought there could be more, unfortunately, are giving back a lot of that today. So our next target had been 68.75. Was a measured move that we had, and then we wanted to be very careful about getting caught down here in the 65 to 62 range, and you can see this is on the money here. If you, as I advise our traders, make sure you are paid by 66. There's a couple of points here, and risk reward really starts to come back the other way, simply as a reflection of profit taking from anybody who had this great trade, either from overnight or jumping in today as it moved during RTH. All right, this is another chart, obviously leaving the same chart here, the 15-minute, with no dialogue on here other than I've put an arrow on here just to show us that 2273 last year's high area. And this is another measure that we use. We have some important big boy measures that we look at, and you can see that this one almost to the tick, where our target zone, I had suggested make sure whatever you do, let's assume 62 is support, and my guess is the big boys are going to try to grab their profits by 63.75, 63 and a half, which is this line right here. So we're consistent with our analysis, and we measure from different locations, and that's one of the reasons why we never know exactly which line or chart is in play, but we want to be aware of probably the charts that the generals are looking at. In today's trade, of course, the setup for this was just being able to have that marginal trade overnight, that everybody was captured here, and first thrust should come down because these traders up here were all underwater, and then the squeeze comes once we break that 75, 74. You can see it right here. Once that happened, it was lights out, and here we go. So the retest, I'm expecting if we get to 71, 72, a reasonable bounce. That's certainly, a lot of people are going to look to, in my opinion, take some profits by there, and good fortune above. So theoretically, if there's a trend trade, we usually look to hit it, and then sometimes we'll miss a really nice trade as a contra where we get too conservative and stay too long with the trend. But these are a couple of charts that we are looking at and that really help us. Here's that 30-minute chart and the dialogue on this chart. We had placed this line showing us our primary target. Obviously, as we were coming back, one of the first things you look for, undo this wedge that was here, and you got to retest obviously this high. But that's not the true breakout. If you've read William O'Neill and some of the literature out there, you'll see this is the breakout right here. Here was your your first high that stalled. Yeah, you had a second that stalled. So this is a double top, and then we come out the third time through, and this is off to the races with a squeeze. So all these traders up here are caught right now. We're bouncing against the 30-minute trend lines, but you can see now we're stretched from the other side. So probably equally valid to take either side of the trade if you want to trade. We believe that there are some good opportunities a couple of times a day, and the rest of them sometimes are just noise. And the more you can align with a power trade and get in and get out, get your work done and done in an hour, why not? The rest of the time you could be spending shopping and then back to that, risk two, make two type of trading. And you can see we're consolidating right now. So this is a 30-minute Globex, and it's a powerful chart. And there's a 15. We look at those 30s to see activity back a few days. But then if we only want to look at certain formations like that umbrella trade, you could just see how good this pattern is once we get this bow tie here and the blue line comes under and crosses over. Now we're set up for the umbrella trade. That is a powerful pattern. That is a money maker. And here's your 5. You can see just how the setup was early. Could not break our long-term moving average, and then the dump at the open, just straight downhill. when our selling finally ends, then of course we get the bounce, but we've been bouncing back in a consolidation type pattern. So realistically right now we think the best trades are done, and certainly you could even up the bias if you want to take a long side trade as opposed to saying I'm too close to the to the lows. But I think that certainly the best trades today are already under our belt, and probably will say that this 75 area is going to be a key resistance before the day's over. Don't expect to see it break that by much if it even gets that high. So this is E for eminiwizard.com, just trying to show you a few things that we are looking at. Hope you're having a great day and great trading. One last look. This is a 10-minute chart. And we usually use the 15 as our power chart, but I usually migrate, by the way, from 5 to the 10 and to the 15 before worrying about things like the 30 and whatever. So for now, this is a power chart that I'm going to be looking at, and you can see as we run into blue lines, they tend to slow us down a bit. And note how we migrate lower and lower as the day goes on, and so it gets easier to step over these lines as the day wears on. But this will give us more of a regression to the mean type idea. So for now, we told our traders 62 support until broken. If that breaks, then the next level is 58 for us. And theoretically, we're looking for this to be a regression trade in a profit-taking move by anybody who is short. Not necessarily longs loading up again as much as it is today's shorts getting paid, because the gift was here, and you take the gift when somebody gives it to you. Take it as fast as you can and get out of the way and say, okay, I've mitigated my risk again and put something in my pocket. Take care. This is E. Have a great day, and catch you later.